Climate change is taking a dramatic toll on the Colorado River system that provides water to nearly 40 million people in 7 states.
A mega drought lasting more than 2 decades is drying up the Colorado River.
40 million Americans who rely on the Colorado River are facing the prospect of their water running dry.
Newsflash, climate change is real.
Large areas of the Southwest are exceptionally dry. That's never good. The worst category is taking a dramatic toll on the Colorado River system.
Water is the key. The management of water, I think, is the key that will open a very bright future. What are we going to do now so that 50 years from now, the people who live in the United States will feel that in the early 60s, we made the proper decision for the management of our resources?
I keep wondering about what my role is in this project or what I'm hoping to get out of it. It's pretty daunting, actually. The upside is that I'm going to be waking up every day to be on that river to create artwork.
What I'm most nervous about is getting to that moment of launch. Really looking forward to it. It's been a big haul to get all of this stuff pulled together. And I think it's going to be a really interesting summer, for sure.
Strapping all my shit down, you know, for the first time. I'm sure it'll all evolve over time, though. Right now, I'm just kind of throwing it in a pile. I'll figure it out later.
It's a little surreal, maybe. It feels like there's a lot ahead of us with a lot of work and fun, hopefully, and good times.
Yeah, cheers, man. Here's to a good expedition. I think we'll be doing all right. Almost there. Almost there.
In 1869, John Wesley Powell embarked on a historic expedition down the Green and Colorado rivers. 150 years later, we follow in his footsteps by rafting 1,000 miles down what's become the most important river system in the American Southwest. The expedition is led by Tom Minkley, an expert on environmental change in the arid West. We also have Pat Keycut, expedition artist, Jess Flock, educator and boat shop owner, Ben Kraushar, filmmaker and graduate student. I'm Cody. I'm here to help Ben run a camera and row a boat. While only 5 of us are going on the entire journey, we'll be joined by over 60 people to help us examine what has changed since Powell's passage and question what the future holds for water in the West.
So we woke up this morning after our first day on the river, and then we're gonna meet up with University of Wyoming professor Brandon McElroy, who has a research vessel that he's kindly come out here to tow us across the reservoirs. Dropping into this trip, I mean, it's completely different than what Powell experienced. Right now we're on a reservoir, which wasn't here when Powell rode this.
In 1869, a government scientist named John Wesley Powell explored the river by boat.
When he passed our valley, he entered a short canyon lined with colorful red cliffs. Powell called it the Flaming Gorge. It's a good name, I think.
Water has continuously been an essential ingredient for Euro-American settlement or colonization of the American West. The West has been described as a hydrological society, and in a sense, that's very, very true. LA, Denver, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Salt Lake, can go down the list. Those places wouldn't be what they are in the 20th century but for large-scale water development. Water has fueled the growth of the modern American West, and the very identity of the region can be attributed to water development.
For millennia, these waters fluctuated from raging floods of melting snow to a lower, warm, and unhurried stream in late summer. From the high mountains, the water bore out a course for the sea to shape the world's most iconic landscape, the plateaus and canyons of the Colorado River Basin. It wasn't until the early 20th century when over 100 dams were built across the watershed, fundamentally altering the river system. Today, that water supports over 5 million acres of farmland, supplies significant amounts of hydropower, maintains a multi-billion-dollar recreation industry, and is home and habitat to native flora and fauna that live nowhere else on Earth. The river imparts a sense of age, order, and identity in this world.
We got an early start this morning. We're at the end of the Flaming Gorge Reservoir. Brandon, he's getting his 30-foot trailer so that we can get hauled around Flaming Gorge Dam today.
Yeah, excited. Get over this dam and get into our longest stretch of open water.
Eyes adjust, my joints are rusty, sheets are off a cold and dusty road. Over folks, I must have been another night on the bend. Kick rocks, left and songs, pool on levee, wash couch.
You know, we're gonna see this for about 500 miles, I think. It's really awesome. You know, the nature of the project is you have to embrace everything, and part of our river system is reservoirs. Now we start the river portion of this thing.
I dread the sight of alcohol and don't know where this train stops, but I want off. Been rather low out here together. Reckon that we'll keep trying if rock bottom is never showed.
With Flaming Gorge behind us and the pulse of flowing water pushing our heavy boats along, we approached Gates of Lodore in Dinosaur National Monument, a stretch of river cherished for generations by river runners. In the 50s, these towering canyons were the site of a controversial dam project that would have flooded nearly 100 miles of pristine river wilderness on the Green and Yampa rivers. The ensuing battle galvanized the American conservation movement into a potent political power. These canyons were saved.
I'm Noel Richardson. I live in Jelm, Wyoming, University of Wyoming guy and a Wyoming native, more or less. Got an opportunity to row a boat a little on this trip, and so I said I would. I celebrated my 80th birthday on the 23rd of this month, and we launched on the 24th. Nothing gets old on the river. There's always something new.
Yep, I'm excited. We got Triple Falls, Hart Falls, and Hell's Half Mile today. So yeah, we got a great day ahead of us.
Nothing like using one pinball rock to keep you off the next one. That was super. Jessica, what are you doing? She's perched. Oh shit, oh shit. Oh Christ. How's this gonna go? Oh no. Oh shit, oh my. Well, that's a perfect job of getting on there, isn't it? Just goes to show you, you'd never know. There you go! It looks like it always looks. It always looks really nasty, and sometimes it is. So I don't know Darn right I'm excited. I'm not sure what my pulse rate's going to be or my blood pressure when we go in there, but I don't want to be monitored. My doc can make me quit rowing. I love river trips. You go out and see what happens and deal with it. Sometimes you have a wreck, sometimes you don't. You just go out and deal with it and enjoy it.
Echo Park, just south of the confluence of the Yampa and the Green River, coming around Steamboat Rock.
Here the Green River glides by Steamboat Rock at Echo Park, one of the most wonderful sights in all the world. The proposed Echo Park Dam would leave just the tip above water. No, it isn't progress to destroy these beautiful canyons of the Yampa and Green with reservoirs that can be placed elsewhere whenever the real need for them arises. Of course, if they build their dams here, you could roar past the tops of these cliffs through 100 miles of reservoir in a power boat, just as you can do in hundreds of other reservoirs all over the country. But so little to gain, and so much to lose. Take another look. Yes, take a good look at this wilderness river country of yours. 2,000 feet straight down into the heart of it, remembering what it was like when you were down there looking straight up, feeling the surge of the river as it carried you along. Remember, too, that our great national park system isn't an accident. Men worked for it, saved it from exploitation, gave us the opportunity of being inspired and thrilled and renewed by them.
The recreation and this river running, which, I started out for the thrills and all that and everything like that. Well, then I want my kids to do that. I want my grandkids to do that. And I got 18 great-grandkids. You get out here and then you get the experience, and maybe it turns on a light in your brain and you go like, what I need to do, what we need to do, what these people need to do is do what you can to maintain it as close to the pristine condition. It's never going to be as pristine as it was, but you can keep it as good as it is and you can improve it. There are parts of it left, and this is part of it here, that somewhat like what it was originally. You try to maintain that.
There's nothing like being on the river. I mean, the river, it's like a pharmacist or a doctor that can help you cleanse out your soul. It can clean you. It can make you rethink things in a positive way. The vibration, the movement of the water is so exhilarating to the spirit, to where your spirit reawakens rather than being in that nutshell to where you're trapped. But when you get out here on the river, man, I tell you, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we started this trip, 14 days down, 56 to go. As soon as you leave Dinosaur, it's ag and oil and gas development. I think it's really important for people to recognize that the water resource in the Colorado River Basin isn't confined geographically to these beautiful places. This resource has to travel through places that people consider kind of desolate wastelands. And there's no reason why we should write off these places as sacrificial or not important just because they're not as spectacular as the Grand Canyon.
18 miles down from our last camp, and we're in the heart, or getting into the heart of the Uinta Basin. And so we've been anticipating coming out of the more protected landscapes and into more BLM land. And oddly, I think everybody on the trip just was kind of amazed at the beauty that we saw around us. And a lot of times we and a handful of buddies go out and then use spaces like this for like studio spaces or experimental spaces where you can complete a project or maybe come up with new ideas and just explore kind of the reality of land use and kind of think about our consumption.
I know we have 40 million people using the water of the Colorado River. The river is in deficit. All climate change models show temperatures increasing. So even if we have the same amount of rain as we've had in the past, we have less water in the system.
Climate change is water change. Climate change is going to affect the Colorado River Basin's hydrology in the future, just as it has in the past. We will have to adapt to climate change. We'll have to adapt our existing rules, our existing ways of thinking to the reality or the realities that climate change imposes on the basin's water supply. Climate change causes flows in the basin to diminish. Some projections suggest regional aridification, but bottom line is the basin is forecast to become a drier place.
Name's Jim Prairie, and I work with the Bureau of Reclamation, and I'm one of the modelers that looks at the big river, so looking at the full scale of the Colorado River Basin.
For me personally, the greatest uncertainty that I'm trying to work through is really what to expect in the supply to this river. This is really the longest drought we've seen since we've been recording stream gauge information, which is pretty much early 1900s. And it's of the scale that we've seen this in 1,000-year paleo records we had of stream flow, but we're in some of the worst even of those paleo records right now. And the more we look at that, the more uncertain it is. And the way we used to do things is we looked at the historic record and we said, okay, this is what happened in the last 100 years. We can expect something like that. And we've moved into this space now where we no longer can expect that. And I think it's a little bit of a scary spot for people because they don't like the unknown.
The Hopi, we're a water-based society. We pray for the rains to come, for the snow to fall, for moisture in the earth, not just for the Hopi, but for everybody, every living thing that's out there. By Hakiperapunika, whatever's living on the land, survive. Water is here in our heart and our mind. Without it, we can't live. Life is very important. Water is life.
Today, we have a system where the majority of communities using water from the Colorado River are located far beyond the basin's boundaries. Hundreds of miles downstream, the largest reservoirs in the country, Lake Mead and Powell, are dropping at alarming rates, proving how vulnerable the system is in the face of human-induced climate change. It's hard to imagine that Powell would have envisioned a future where rivers run dry and climate change would impact the Western water supply. While we do not have the ability to control the imminent impacts of climate change, we do have the ability to control our consumption of water.
June 11th, and we are at the foot end of Desolation Gray Canyon. Things have changed for us a little bit. We're now really around people in a way that we haven't been since the beginning of the trip. It's a big transition in resource usage, and in this case, the resource is the environment itself. People coming out to enjoy the desolation of Desolation Canyon.
Days out to noontime, till the visions of Yosemite roll back my way. Won't you roll back my way? Visions of Yosemite roll back my way. Heavy dreamless nights have got me gone.
So I'm 22, I'm in Boulder. I still remember laying on my little bed, a couple inches off the floor, just kind of figuring it out, and in my mind saying, okay, art, I want to be an artist and I want to commit to that. And so it was like a wedding commitment in a lot of ways. I'm hoping that, the collection of my work will be able to kind of reflect or mirror thoughts and in science as well as the history of this river, and also thinking for the future. It's so inspiring to, be here with the rock art, around and be drawn to it and see how people still are interested in looking at that and seeking that work out. It's all really humbling to be part of this project, and what an honor this is.
Powell was a product of the times, swept up in a fanatical national entitlement that the West was open for the taking. Powell only questioned the methods of America's expansion, warning that the West had limits, and to ignore them would lead to a heritage of water conflict and litigation. Ultimately, those ideas were brushed aside, just as the tribes themselves, whose interests were marginalized and land stolen.
The descendants of the Euro-American settlers, they've been the beneficiaries of the law of the river. Native peoples and the non-human world, I would suggest, have been historically relegated to the margins.
My name is Bahioma, water running. I am the Lenmongwe at Masangnabi, the flute chief. Who were the first users of this water? The Hopi. Our people lived there. It's documented, but what rights do we have? Zero.
My name is Daryl Vigel, and I'm an enrolled member of the Hickory Apache Nation, and I also have tribal affiliation to the Zia Pueblo and Jemez Pueblo. And my tribe, the Hickory Apache Nation, is a founding member of the 10 Tribes Partnership of the Colorado River. The 10 Tribes Partnership of the Colorado River was formed in 1992. And the reason the 10 tribes become really significant in the conversation right now is because the 10 tribes of the partnership combined have 20% of the volume of the river, 2.9 million acre feet of water rights. And traditionally, and still to a large extent, haven't had any access to policy tables. At the heart of issues with the Colorado River has to be the tribes, because it's the only pool of water that, that we can actually utilize. Everything else has pretty much been designated and allocated. So this is it. This is the line in the sand for tribes, because the Broader Basin study in 2012 said that by 2060, the imbalance between supply and demand in the Colorado River will be 3 million acre feet. And no surprise that the tribes have 2.9 million acre feet. And you know, I mean, and history has told us that they have no problem with just yanking it away from us. For us to move forward as a country, we need to reconcile our past, especially with Native Americans.
Things have to be rewritten. And I hate to say it, when the encroachment came, we invited people here. We brought them into our homes. We fed them. We took care of them. And they turn around and treat you like I'm the outsider. But not all people are the same. Like my brother. John and I are brothers. We're more than allies. I respect him, and I think he respects me. But John and I make things happen for the environment. We don't do it for ourselves. We're doing it for everybody, for everything. And that's the greatness with him. Being true men that we are, we won't stop.
Last night I lay in a restless bed, a humdrum life pounding in my head. When out of the night came a mighty roar, the river calling me back once more. My heart knows what the river knows. I gotta go where the river goes. Restless river, wild and free, the lonely ones are you and me.
We were not alone. There was help. Maybe it was the combined spirit of all of us working together on a single objective. So that's an energy I can't explain, but it did happen. The river, our souls and our spirits were energized, and I think that's what saved us.
It's great to have somebody who knows this section so well. Even with a lot of experience, having more experience around you always helps.
John is helping make sure we're rigged to flip, right? You never know when that might happen.
We're really lucky to have John out here, river legend. He's done this shit like 400 times at every water level imaginable.
We're going down Cataract Canyon.
How were those first rapids today, John?
Oh, well, everybody did well, but not exceptional. We're gonna try and go from adequate to perfection.
The Scout, I'll admit, I felt a sense of foreboding nature in front of us for the whole group.
Because it looked like a pretty straightforward run. Bust those laterals right after those rocks. We've got this, and we're going to pull into camp, and we're going to scout the big drop.
We untied the ropes after the Scout. There's some confusion as to who would untie the ropes and who'd go first.
Go, 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 go! Here, just hop on, we'll push.
You got your boat?
We pushed our boats out into the water, and before Ben and I got to the decisive feature where the move needed to be made, we looked downstream and saw our first boat had already flipped.
We got a flip boat! John's flipped!
But I really thought I was okay, and I was actually shocked it went over. I was under the boat for a while, but I just relaxed and waited.
This boat that was upside down was our leader, our guide. We needed John to show us the lines, but now we were barreling towards the big drops blind, a set of rapids considered the most fearsome and unforgiving in North America.
I didn't really think anybody would be able to get us. Yeah, and the boats just disappeared. I mean, I'm not with the boats anymore.
I felt completely alone, and it was terrifying. It's probably the most scared I've ever been in my life.
Get in! He's on your boat! He's on your boat!
The current had us. We had no idea where we were.
I don't think that was 18, actually. I'm not sure. I don't fucking know. All right, bro, I don't know where I am or what.
Our adventures really started where the horizon dropped off right in front of us. It was the largest hole I've ever seen in my life.
What's up ahead? Stand up. Big drop, big cascade over a new big hole. For sure. Let me out. I mean, it all looks about the same, I don't know. Looks just chunky as fuck. Alright, bro. Alright. How you looking? Alright.
Big Drop 2, we didn't know it. Big Drop 3 was ahead. Ben jumped into the seat to give me some rest. We had nothing left. In a desperate attempt to catch an eddy, we lost another oar and were swept downstream.
We knew John was safe and we weren't sure about Kate. We assumed she was still with the boat. Almost as soon as we get done with Big Drop 3, somebody's in the eddy over on the right, and we can see now that Kate has let go of the boat and she's trying to swim for shore.
Kate! She's in the current!
I cannot tell you how important it was for me to see Jess and Tess. And I felt like they knew what to do. And it gave me, I was running out of everything. And it just gave me the strength to hang on for one more moment.
So I get the rope, I'm out on the back of the boat, she's floating towards me. I got my, you pull out the knot, you grab the knot, wait for just the right moment. I wanted to throw it early, bam! And I think I said, Kate, the rope's gonna flow fast, you gotta get the rope! She's swimming with whatever she's got left, and she just, a couple strokes, grabs the rope, we got her.
They drop their style.
John, how old did you turn today?
Oh, I am 65 years old.
And what'd you do on your birthday today?
I flipped in Rapid 15, but I successfully did Big Drop 1, 2, and 3, chasing down Kate and a boat. I had a blast.
And yeah, you don't give up. I guess that's a character thing that maybe river running taught me. Activism is the same thing. That's how change happens. The minute you give up, you've essentially said life is not worth living. My dedication to a healthy planet is not worth having. You know, if you start and you don't finish, that is absolutely not okay. I made a commitment to work for a better planet and a better river, and I'm not going to quit.
We survived high water cataract, and tales of our harrowing experience echoed through camp for days. As the river slowed on its approach to Powell, the entire group looked forward to easy reservoir living, cold beers and motoring.
8 miles out of Galesburg, I'm staring at the rain. 8 ball left of the cheap cocaine, and I'm looking at the sunlight, light through the pines. I couldn't tell you what it is. It's always been mine. Now that I'm gone,
Cody, what are we doing?
Yeah, we're attaching the transom to our frame right now, so we're turning our big whitewater miracle vessel into a motor rig to take us about 150 miles downstream.
We just came out of Cataract Canyon. Our boats are over about a mile away at the current Height boat ramp. We wanted to come and visit the Height Marina. This is about, 1,500 foot long, huge concrete pad to access Lake Powell for reservoir recreation, and there's no reservoir here. River's about 2,000 feet away from us right now, over against the cliff, and look at that, you can see kind of the bathtub line of fuller days. It's climate change. It's the kind of demand that we place on this river versus the supply that you'll never see this reservoir refill. This boat ramp will forever be a testament to a bad idea.
Reclamation infrastructure doesn't last forever. Concrete gets old and brittle. Reservoirs fill up with sediment. Reservoir spillways can't handle certain kinds of large floods. We're trapped by infrastructure that isn't going to last forever. Yet we want our society to live forever. We've done nothing to be compatible with that. So it fails. Right now 40 million people depend on this hydraulic trap working. And every single one of us knows that the hydraulic trap becomes dysfunctional. And then what do?
Let me get one more person back here. Tom.
The motor seems to be working pretty good, and we're gonna get this thing up on plane and just crank across this reservoir.
The motor is seeming to be a little cranky, as they tend to be. There's gonna be some high fives once we get this figured out.
There's nothing, no indication of a clog in there. Yeah, dude, this thing is fucked. Huh?
That was better.
No, this is fucked. This is just as fucked as it's been. I mean, I could see how you might think that. We're right now rowing at the very top of Lake Powell, like right where the velocity of the river is gone. Another motor is on its way. It's supposed to be here at 4 p.m. We're kind of on a time crunch right now to get to the launch at the Grand Canyon. We got about 140 miles And I think even if we got a working motor, I don't know that we could do it in time. The motorboat's coming. Oh, we're glad to see you. Thanks for helping us out.
Seriously, much appreciated.
Yeah. How do you want to, how can we best set up to get started?
What's that thing right there? Yeah, what is it?
It's a Honda.
Is it a 30?
It's a 15.
Sweet, so it's not too heavy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's do this, bud. Pull your oar up. There you go. Keep going. That's right. Okay. Now put it on that red pad right there. Okay.
Well, here we go. Second attempt here.
We were a day behind schedule, and with a top speed of 4 miles an hour, it'd be 5 full days on the throttle.
Well, my warfare will soon be ended. My race is almost.
Arnold Palmer, I think I'm gonna get some ice and just do me up, and I'm happy. Where'd you get that popsicle?
And then I'm going home. Christ was a wayward traveler. He went from door to door. His occupation mainly was administering to the poor.
For the last 600 miles, we've been anticipating crossing this reservoir. A remote landscape far removed from the population it supports with hydropower and water storage. Based on what we've seen so far, it's hard not to imagine what was lost below these stagnant waters, drowned by Western conquest, and what was really gained.
At some boat ramp. I'm not sure of the name. Man, we're done motoring across Reservoir Powell.
Seems like every dam portage is a little bit of nuts.
This is the last time we have to haul our rigs around a massive dam. The ultimate leg of our journey is ahead, a final descent into the grandest canyon of them all.
We're at Lee's Ferry, July 14th, getting ready to start the last 300 miles of our journey down into the great known Grand Canyon.
So we're starting a really epic portion of this, one that caused a lot of trouble to John Wesley Powell and his men. This is sort of the crux part of that, and it's also, I think, for us a really great opportunity to see some new landscape, think about some new conversations with some new people.
I'm Will Wilson, and I'm a photographer. I hail from, well, this area actually. I grew up on the Navajo Res. I haven't spent any time like really down on the river, and this is a dream come true.
Halfway gone, halfway in a memory, silk streets like ribbons in the wind. Let loose beneath my heels, disappear in the distance, hear the soft fade of a dissipating day, never to return to me again. I left my love waiting in the village green while
It's awe-inspiring. How do you deal with all the hyperbole in the canyon, because it's already, so glorious at every turn and bend. It's like pretty amazing, pretty beautiful.
I'm not ashamed to tell you I'm tired. I lost my hat.
Jessica Flock is an amazing woman. I don't know how this project would have succeeded without her working on it. She's watching out for everybody on this trip.
The adrenaline high you get is unexplainable, and then it sticks with you for days.
She's just got a big sparkle in her eye and such a good spirit, and just a solid member of our crew.
Waves and big fun. Hopefully you don't flip over, but you eat the meat on this one. It's an incredibly good ride. Every trip absolutely adds to sort of the depth of my love and experiences. Yeah, there's something incredibly special about it down here.
All the survey photography that was going on, late 19th century, they didn't photograph native encampments or communities or nations when there were plenty of people out here, for sure, that had been doing treaty negotiations with the Spanish and then with Mexico, and then even with the United States, But there's a certain absence there, like a wide open, notion of the West as this place to claim. And I mean, Native folks survived a layer upon layer of ethnic cleansing. The reservation era, the boarding school era, it's like kill the Indian, save the man, So when you look at those beautiful sepia-toned images of these proud Native people, it's like all of that history gets kind of washed away,
Frederick Remington, Thomas Moran, and Albert Bierstadt played a big role in Manifest Destiny because they were basically, a funny way to think about it is they were painting these beautiful landscapes, but they are also kind of making an inventory list on national resources. It's like, this is what we've got in the closet. This is what we've got out there, And sadly, in a lot of cases, there are some Native people depicted in those, but they're very few, and they seem to be kind of on their way, over the horizon. And you know, some of the reality of what was happening too in many people's minds.
The Little Colorado runs through Navajo, and it connects with the Colorado coming up here, and it's the end of Marble Canyon, and it opens up into the Grand Canyon proper. It's also this really sacred space. It holds the emergence point into this world in the creation stories of a number of communities who live in this region. It's like where we came into this world.
She Nikki Cooley, the Shijine, Kinya Ani Nashlo look at the na, a Bashishin, is it Lana a dashinale, Tohead Line a dashiche. Bestot isn't the skis do shot toward a nasha. A day can thunder Shagan, but our the net is son in the shlem. I just introduced myself to you in the Navajo way to offer my respects to you, but also to all the natural beings around us. I am the first Navajo woman to receive her commercial river guide license in the Grand Canyon on the Colorado River, and I spent almost 13 years telling people that we should think about the environment as a holy spiritual place that we can enjoy recreationally, but also respect in a spiritual way.
This is awesome. The importance of the summer rains are just, it's just magic, you know, yeah. This is a good one. The old river before it got controlled was a place of expression of the land moving down to the sea, and this doesn't happen like it did before the dam.
My name is Lyle Bolenqua. I am a member of the 3rd Mesa Greasewood clan from the village of Baclavi here on the Hopi Reservation in northeastern Arizona. These are markings left by our ancestors that speak to the history of the different people who moved in and around this region. This rock art that we're looking at, this petroglyph, is depicting what we think is the Grand Canyon. A modern day Hopi, we know that we have a deep connection to the Grand Canyon, and so this is really kind of a metaphor for that landscape that we still have connection to here in the modern day. Even though the Colorado River is considered and known to be part of our ancestral lands, we no longer have a legal right to the water that comes out of the Colorado River. So we are effectively cut off from a water source that was for thousands of generations available for us to use.
Powell's legacy has been enshrined as a legendary tale of conquering the unknown. However, Powell's 1869 journal underrepresented the indigenous presence already within the basin. He misrepresented the narrative to make his expedition appear more uncharted than it truly was.
John Wesley Powell, a lot of folks consider him the first person to have rafted the Colorado River. For us here at Hopi, we know that's false. We know that the first person to raft the Colorado River was a Hopi ancestor. We have our own oral history about this individual from a specific Hopi clan that was the first to journey down. I care about this landscape. I want it to be protected. I want it to be preserved. I don't want it to be abused. You know, water is a life force for all of us. It has its own spiritual and physical being to it that deserves respect. It's not something that you take for granted.
Tom and I were driving back from a Grand Canyon trip a couple of years ago, and we're thinking about Powell and thinking about their amazing journey and recognizing that they raided a farm that was down here in the great unknown. So we thought maybe we would bring some seeds back to recognize that desperation that they were in, and then also as a goodwill gesture going forward.
Yeah.
So we brought these seeds down as close as we could get to native seeds that might have been here.
We asked people what to do with this moment, or just with this gesture, and been talking to Howard Dennis and Daryl. We thought we could close the circle by putting these into the ground.
This definitely doesn't reconcile for what was taken.
The symbolism behind it's important. Taking small steps to at least begin to acknowledge and hopefully reconcile things that happened a long time ago. Yeah, hopefully this can radiate out throughout and just kind of be a symbol for what's to come within the Colorado River Basin.
Like, you get near the end of a trip, and I think any normal human being is probably longing to go home and see loved ones or their dogs, or have an iced tea. But there's just a part of me that really just wants to stay and just keep growing, keep learning from really incredible people. I feel like some of these people are my family.
You too.
And it's gonna suck not to wake up with them and live a day with them and experience all the same things with them. I also feel very inspired by all the people I've met and the people who care about this place as much as maybe I do, or they care about their home as much as I care about my home. And so I just feel really encouraged and inspired to want to do more.
So I've been leading the expedition for about 900 miles at this point, and we've seen some just incredible landscapes, met some incredible people. We've encountered challenges, a lot of things that you would expect, but taking this to the end is sort of a bittersweet time. It's become normal in a way that I didn't expect. It's been a pretty enriching process to be with this changing cast of people talking about the issues of the arid West. It's been quite humbling for me.
I'm hoping that our work speaks to the Colorado River Plateau right here and right now in all of its beauty and rawness, and not ignoring any of the issues that we have come to understand better from all of our conversations and from witnessing what we've seen on the river. Public land in all of its wild glory is a valuable, valuable thing, and hopefully we can help others understand how important this place is.
There's nothing more important than these places to me. Everything good in my life has spawned from something I've experienced in places like these. All my best friends, all the folks I love, it all ties back to experiences out here.
During Powell's most desperate days in the Grand, half-starved, physically exhausted, overwhelmed by the environment, and with a crew divided as deep as the canyon itself, he scribbled in his journal. We have an unknown distance yet to run, an unknown river to explore. What falls there are, we know not. What rocks beset the channel, we know not. What walls ride over the river, we know not. Powell's words remain hauntingly relevant. We're barreling toward a different kind of unknown. Climate change, unchecked growth, lack of social cohesion, all perpetuate uncertainty for the 40 million people reliant on its waters. We have a long road ahead, but our modern society is hardly the first to incorporate the unforgiving lessons Mother Nature can bring to this land. We can look to indigenous peoples who have endured by fostering equitable communities, diversifying local economies, cultivating a sustainable connection to the land, and recognizing that efficiency is more valuable than power. Confronting climate change will include challenging the elite who control frameworks of water distribution while simultaneously reducing fossil fuel emissions. If humans want to continue to live in the Southwest, we need to start to work together, and I mean with everybody. There's strength in cooperation, in community and common ground rather than going it alone. Change is full of juxtapositions, personal yet collective, frustrating and simultaneously hopeful.
I could, baby, I think that I could lie. This loving for a while, 'cause I forgot what it felt like to feel like this. And I could feel like this a while. And I know you as well as I can know you now without knowing you are. And I can tell oh baby, this one's gonna be good.